This is Radio Rahim here with Abner Mares. This interview is brought to you by the Pro Fight Shop in Hollywood. You know, Abner, we're in downtown Los Angeles. You know, you're home. You're feeling real comfortable. Let me take you back to the night that you stepped up to super middleweight. I'm sorry, we stepped up to super bantamweight. Because I think middleweight might be in your future the way you're climbing these divisions. And defeated one of your friends. You know, a guy that a lot was made of your relationship prior. I was surprised that you knocked him out and were able to stop him. I think a lot of the fans were too. Can you talk to me about that moment when you realized that you had the power to do it and were able to actually accomplish that?
Well, I always thought that I knew I had the power, even at 122, even though I went on a streak without knocking anyone out. I think of 3 or 4 fights. But I've always hurt my fighters. I've always knocked them down, always hurt them. So I knew I had the power. And now as I moved up, I felt stronger, I felt quicker, and I felt more power. So I knew I had a chance of knocking that Ponce out, but not the way I did. I think I surprised a lot of people, like you said. I surprised you and a lot of people out there. And that just lets you know of how tough we work and how much work we put in the gym.
You guys were vigorous competitors. You both, you know, left everything in the ring, but you were friends before. Have you spoken to him after, and what's the relationship like now?
Relationship is still good. I mean, we still talk. I saw him not too long ago at some fights, and he was sitting right behind me actually, and he went up to me and he said, "Abner, when are you gonna give me my rematch?" So all I told him was, you know, we'll see. You know, we'll talk to Oscar and we'll see what we can win or if we can make it happen. But for now, I mean, we're still good. We still talk, and it was just business.
Now, speaking of a rematch, it doesn't seem like that's likely. Is that something that you really want, or are you looking to move forward?
I'm really just looking forward to moving forward. Looking to facing different names, different fighters out there, and risking my undefeated record against top of physicians. I think Ponce de Leon, a great fighter, and I thank him for giving me the opportunity. But you know, I don't see it possible. But who knows? You never know in this sport.
Now, you're going to fight Jhonny Gonzalez. You know, he lost to Ponce. Is this kind of a fight to establish yourself now at this weight division, get comfortable, and then take on another more competitive opponent?
Not at all. Not at all. Every opponent is tough. Jhonny, I mean, styles make fights. I think Jhonny had trouble with Ponce because of his weird, you know, come forward style. And I'm a different style than Ponce, so I don't know. I might not be as troubled as Ponce was to Jhonny, and it'll probably be an interesting fight. And Jhonny, I mean, experienced fighter. He's been world champion for a few times. I think he's been champion 2 or 3 times. And he's got a record of close to 60 fights and over 40 knockouts. So that speaks highly of him. And I mean, that lets you know that I'm here to face anyone and have no trouble fighting punchers, southpaws, you know, left-handers or right-handers. I'm here to just please the crowd and give good shows. And
to that point, I mean, you've proven that with this record of your career. You've been willing to fight everyone. You've got 3 titles in multiple weight divisions, yet there's other fighters on Golden Boy's roster who seem to get the fanfare and the publicity that you don't get. Why do you think that is?
Well, one thing is probably just my weight class. You know, I'm not at that recognized weight class. You know, I'm talking about the super lightweights up to middleweights. You know, I'm lower. I'm at featherweight. I'd probably be that, but I don't see anything else because I think I've proven myself inside the ring. I face nothing but the best. I carry myself good outside the ring. You know, I'm not a bad person outside. You know, I think I'm a good guy, but I don't know. It's hard to really point fingers and blame anyone for me not having the hype a lot of these fighters have. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm just here to fight. I hope that people recognize that. You know, I'm always whenever I show up to fight, I'm always gonna please them and then give them good shows.
You know, it's interesting that you bring up your attitude outside the ring. I do want to talk to you about that because you're a young guy. You're 23. You've had so much success, yet you're not flamboyant or, you know, foul language. You're not brash in that way. Why is it that you've chosen to be just a consummate professional, even though it may appear that that kind of attitude, that style, can bring more money and attention?
I mean, this is just the way I was raised, the way I was brought up. I mean, I come from a humble family of immigrants, 11 brothers and sisters, and my parents taught me better than that. So I can't just come out and be something or be someone I'm not. I am who I am. I'm a nice guy, I guess you could say. I'm a guy that doesn't talk trash, and whatever talking I do it inside the ring.
Well, if that's your choice, then we're going to have to talk about opponents, because if you're not going to get it that way, you're going to have to get it the hard way, right, which is by beating the best. Well, we know that the Donaire fight, fell apart. It appeared the Golden Boy made their most valiant effort to put that fight together, and it didn't happen. You're on a card with Leo Santa Cruz, which is a possible another opponent. Given your druthers, give me like the next 2 or 3 opponents that you'd like to face that may be able to take you to that next level, make you a household name.
Well, I can mention 2 right now on top of my head. One of them is Leo Santa Cruz. That's going to be on my undercard. The other one's Gary Russell Jr. That's been talked of probably, in the future fighting him as well. Those are 2, possible and definitely for sure names and opponents that I could think of. And good fights that people wouldn't mind seeing and paying for.
Now, like you said, styles make fights. Both of those guys are pretty sharp boxers, but you've surprised the public again with your willingness to slug and battle it out. That's another way that fans are excited by performances in the ring. Are you in the gym working on your boxing skills? I mean, I'm talking longevity now. Are you looking to be an established boxer and that's your style, or are you going to go in there and slug?
You know what? This last camp, or this camp, I'm focusing more on my power, on my physical power than anything. I think my boxing abilities, I have them, thank God, natural. So that, I mean, obviously we still work on a game plan for the fight, but because we have my conditioning coach and myself, we have plans of, who knows, maybe moving up to 130. So I want to go in there big. I want to go in there looking, feeling and looking strong. And again, it's going to be a tough fight, and I want to, if it comes down to having to manhandle Jhonny or just lugging it out, I'm gonna have to do that, because Johnny's a well-schooled boxer, and we got to make it into a war if we have to.
And if I could now, just to wrap up, ask you about the biggest fight on the Golden Boy card right now. Obviously, everyone's attention is on Mayweather and Canelo. He's Mexican, you're Mexican-American. How do you feel about that matchup? And what is the attention that Alvarez has gotten meant for you? Does that bleed over into the other Mexican and Mexican-American fighters?
No, I mean, well, the Canelo fight is big already by itself. I mean, just Mayweather's name, and obviously Canelo's a big household name in Mexico, and that itself is taking a lot of eyes, a lot of attention to that fight, and than any other fight. But I have nothing against Canelo, nothing against anyone. I think that's going to be a terrific fight. God willing, everything goes well with me in my fight. I'll be in that card. I'll be supporting Canelo and Mayweather, boxing in general. And I mean, I have nothing against any of them. And if anything, I'm Mexican too. I was born in Mexico. So.
You want to give me a prediction on that one? How do you think that fight's going to go?
You know what? I have no prediction. I just think it's going to be a good fight. It's just I don't know how it's going to plan out. Mayweather's got everything, really. On paper, he was won already. But Canelo, he seems like a really mature fighter, and the way I look at him and see him at the press conference, he looks really confident that he's going to beat Mayweather. So that speaks a lot.
And turning to a possible but highly unlikely super fight for you, if you were to be able to face Rigondeaux or Donaire, who do you think would be the toughest fight for you, and why?
I think my toughest fight between them two will be Mikey Garcia, even though you didn't name him.
All right, I'll let you get away with that one. Radio Rahim with Abner Mares.